Before we get into this, I do want to say that this is not going to be a really nitty-gritty dig into the details, specs-focused review or thoughts. If you want a video like that, check out Gerald Undone or Who is Matt. They both have phenomenal videos. You can click up here to watch them. I want to talk about this from the angle of what do I need in a camera and why, and maybe, spoiler alert, attempting to temper my own excitement a little bit. Okay, let's get into this. Hey there, Internet. So, in case you are not like I am and constantly checking Google for any and all exciting mirrorless video camera news, July 2020, setting aside what's going on in like the big important real world, has been a very, very great month. Nikon, Canon, and Sony have all put out gigantic announcements about their latest and greatest cameras that are coming out. I don't really know what Nikon said because I don't really care about Nikon. I think of them as almost entirely a stills company, and also their lenses zoom backward. What's going on with that? It's insane. You know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. Canon announced two new cameras, the R5 and the R6, which, while phenomenal sounding on paper, like 8K video recording, even though I, apparently a pleb, have no understanding of why anyone even really remotely cares about 8K recording at this point, because I don't have 80,000 terabytes of storage available on my beautiful computer. Despite those impressive spec sheets, they apparently are essentially non-functional due to overheating issues in real-world testing. But latest and greatest, Sony came out of the gate swinging, I think I just mixed those metaphors, with the announcement of the 5 years in the making successor to the a7s II, the a7s III. And I could go into all sorts of details about what the difference is between the a7s and the a7s and the a7Rs and why some of them are 2s and 3s and 4s, but that does not necessarily matter. The gist of it is that the a7s III is the video-focused digital mirrorless camera that people like moi have been waiting for forever. And they've just been quiet and not saying anything, and then they're like, shabam, here's the thing that you've been waiting for your entire lives. Of course, it's helpful context to know that in the world of prosumer digital video cameras, I am incredibly near the bottom rung. This camera I'm shooting on right now is the A6400, which is an entire tier below the A7 series. It's a crop sensor instead of a full frame. It doesn't have any sort of image stabilization. It has the old, junkier batteries. It has some decent color settings, and it can shoot in 4K at 30, but if I want to go up to 60p, I have to drop down to 1080. It's essentially an entry-level camera just with a few nifty bells and whistles. Of course, this is my newest camera. The original camera that I shot on was the 6000, which doesn't even shoot 4K. That's what my wife still shoots on for weddings, and it's a nice camera, I like it, but it's pretty limited, and let's not even talk about the abhorrent first generation of Sony camera menus, over which the 6400 was a significant improvement, and over which the a7 II was an improvement on that, and now the a7s III is an improvement on that. I'm getting ahead of myself. The menus have been improved, and for some reason, a very good reason, everyone's really excited about it, myself included, because you can actually find where things are. In case you haven't caught on, this is definitely one of those rambly videos. So for years, I've been just sort of happily existing on this bottom rung, knowing that at some point, this legendary a7s III was going to be announced and brought down to earth, and then I could finally make the jump. And then I could finally make the jump to shooting full frame. My image quality would skyrocket. I could get higher bitrate imagery. I could get higher frame rate imagery. I could get more accurate colors. I could get more depth in my grading. I could get in-body image stabilization. So many beautiful things. And so on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it was, Sony just dropped this video. I mean, they did announce they were going to announce it because that's what everyone does anymore. But they put out this video and they said, here's everything this camera can do. And it included things like 10-bit recording in every single image mode, RAW output via a full-size HDMI port, 4K up to 120 frames per second, not just 60, and 1080p up to 240. That's 10x slow motion in case you don't know how frame rates work. It has dual card slots which can take either SD or CF Express, which has literally never been done before. It essentially never overheats, and that's not just Sony saying it, it's all of the real-world tests that they've given to YouTubers to perform. It doesn't overheat. You can just shoot forever on it, which this camera stinking overheats. It's got a real screen that can actually flip out to the side and turn around, which for someone like me who does these vlog things is phenomenal. It wasn't until the 6400 that I had a screen I could even see from in front of the camera. It flips up, but that's not all that convenient because often you have things mounted on top of your camera. So this one finally flips out to the side. Mwah, what a genius idea. Canon's been doing it literally since the T3i. And Sony just finally caught on that maybe they should be doing that. And most exciting for me, it has things like adjustable autofocus speed. So you can change the speed at which the camera ramps between focal planes, meaning that you can use autofocus to do genuine, smooth, live rack focuses. Perfect for wedding videography. You can adjust the sensitivity with which it chooses to change subjects so that if I'm swinging my gimbal around during a ceremony and I accidentally pass someone in front of me, it's not going to suddenly jump focus when I really just want to stay focused on the dang bride and groom the whole time. How hard is that to understand? Some of you out there are probably screaming at me that I should just be using manual focus, but I'm not that good yet, okay? I have very poor fine motor skills. I will freely admit that. My hands are essentially clubs on the end of my arms. I also have bad vision, which means I can't manually focus. Thank you, Sony, for including autofocus in all of your cameras. It has improved color science. It has even better low light sensitivity than the a7s II. The S, by the way, stands for sensitivity. The camera is designed to be able to shoot in essential dark of night on its own merit. So for weddings where oftentimes, sparkler exits, you're shooting in the dark of night with no lights, and goodness knows, except for very few instances, I've never had time to go set up extra lights for a wedding, plus then they just get in the way of everybody. Sensitivity is improved so I can shoot essentially whenever. In case you don't know what in-body image stabilization is, I've said that a lot of times, but basically the camera will compensate for a little bit of shake on any lens, no matter what lens you attach to it, and that's great because sometimes I just want to put my gimbal down and get in there in the action, shooting handheld, and gotta be real careful. Keep those elbows locked. Walk with the weird duck knees, if you know what I'm saying. Don't have to worry about that as much anymore. I could literally go on talking about this for forever, and I realized that I said I wasn't gonna do an in-depth tech dive. I sort of just did. My point being that essentially this camera answered literally everything I want in my next camera, and it costs $3,500, and it's available in about a month. And I watched this video and I called Allie and I said, hey, how would you feel about me spending $5,000 on a camera and a new lens? And she said, did they announce the a7s III? And I said, darn right they announced the a7s III, and I can't stop thinking about it. And that phrase, I can't stop thinking about it, is the problem I want to address today. You thought I wasn't gonna get philosophical. Do you even know what this channel is? I really, really want the a7s III. It would be so fun to get it and to shoot on it. And I do think it would make parts of my wedding videography life way easier. Hopefully, no more would I be constantly fighting it to focus on what I want to focus. No more would I fail to get the perfect shot because the record button on this camera is in a really stupid place and I miss it when I go to hit it quickly to capture those little moments that no one ever planned for but are exactly what you want in a wedding video. I miss so many of those, but the a7s III has a big, beautiful record button right on top. No more would I have shots that are almost perfect but have just enough shake in them that I don't want to use it. No more would I be constantly fumbling with my dial to jump between the different frame rates and never know what resolution I'm in because it would all shoot at 4K and I would have both flexibility in time and flexibility in scale in the post-edit. No longer would I have to stop recording after about an hour and a half into the reception because there's just no light anymore. Crank up that ISO, maybe do a little bit of grain reduction in post, and I'm good to go. If I'm not careful, I'm gonna talk myself into this dang thing just while trying to explain why I don't think it's worth it. So yes, it would improve many things, but do I need it? Allie and I do this wedding videography thing, 3-chord films, in case you don't know. Click up here, check out our channel. I'm proud of what we do. We do it on the side. We both have full-time jobs. Yes, I love doing it. Yes, it's a great source of income, but right now, we're at a pretty stable point. The first year, we spent basically all of our money flipping it back around and just buying more equipment. And we really don't want to do that with year 2 because, surprise, surprise, we bought a condo. In case you weren't sure, this is not the same apartment. At some point, we'll give you a tour. We could stand to save up a little bit again and not just dump it all back into gear. I'm really trying to evaluate what do we need, and the answer is we probably need some tripods. We probably need an updated recorder that doesn't just crap out on me in the middle of a wedding. We probably need some more cabling, some decent extension cords. We definitely need a decent lens or two that isn't just a 50 mil. I love my 50 mil to death. Shh, don't worry, baby. I'm not gonna get rid of you. But I don't think I need full frame, 4K, 120p, 10-bit, S-Log 3, 409,600 ISO, dual slot recording, 600 megabit per second all-I encoding. I don't currently need that. So as much as I want to buy the a7S III, and as much as I think I will one day buy the a7S III, should I buy the a7S III now? No. Should you? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you're much more flush with cash than we are right now. If so, have fun. Maybe don't tell me about it though, because I'm trying not to be very jealous. But it's a goal. It's what I'm working toward, and boy howdy, I cannot wait for that day. Now I gotta go get ready to actually shoot a wedding on this thing, which means I need to dump footage off the card and recharge the battery. Deuces. Hey, are you proud of me? I made a new video after being gone for literally 6 months without starting the video talking about how I'd been gone for 6 months. I did decide, however, to just put it over the end screen. That's irrelevant.